Let's podcast alongside Demetri Ravanos, not Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. We are inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management. Get everything you need up into the cloud. Save money along the way. Speaking of the cloud, Demetri, Pack fans sent into Cloud 9 last night.
I was about to say, not the cloud, the ninth cloud.
I'm conflicted today.
Okay.
I know Joe last week, we've got a funky schedule this week. He's not here today. He's on assignment. I'm headed up to DC, not to storm the Capitol, but to storm some hockey rinks for a youth
November
hockey,
6th,
a youth hockey tournament up in DC, in the DC area. It's really Dulles. I mean, let's be real here. Regardless, so we got a little bit of a funky schedule today. And on one hand, I'm kind of bummed out that Giglio's not here today after what NC State did to NC Central last night in their season opener, the Red Reckoning. Red Reckoning.
Are we excited just because the Will Wade era has now officially begun, or is there something about beating Central specifically that has people with their raging wolf boners?
It's raging wolf boners is probably a good way to put it. 114 points last night for NC State over Central. It's in how it happened.
It's
not that they won. It's in how it happened. If they had just had a routine win over Central, then people would just be going, still waiting for the reckoning.
I would like to note for the record, I'm finding out about all of this right now.
We'll get to that in a second. In my whole setup of like, I'm both kind of annoyed that you're here today and actually kind of amused that you're here today. But yeah, 114 points last night. That's the second most ever scored in that building.
Right.
Okay. 114 points, 27 assists are the most for the program since December 22nd, 2017, when State had 26 assists. 28 assists. It's time to get my progressive lenses fixed here. 28 assists and 116 points in a 52 win over Jacksonville. Pack finished with a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio last night and out-rebounded the Eagles by 16. There was one sentiment that I received from a listener saying, look, I love Lavelle Moten, NC Central coach. When he sat in and he came through in the clutch for the basketball Jones,
right?
Lavelle tells amazing stories.
Absolutely.
Okay. And this listener said, yeah, man, love Lavelle, love the conversations, but yeah, man, that felt good. Okay. So like take my brother, for instance, right? My brother who lives down in Orlando is a guy who at one point in time had his name on the building Jumbotron as part of the student Wolfpack club, having attended like the most amount of sporting events. He was in the top 10, which I've told this story before, but I find it kind of amusing because back in my sports talk radio days, my brother used to kind of get on me like, who cares about sports? Sports is dumb. And I said, wait till you get to college.
Right.
You'll change your tune. And again, by senior year, he's up on that Jumbotron, right? But now, look, life happens. He's down in Orlando. He's not in it all the time. He kind of keeps up with what's going on. So after the Georgia Tech win on Saturday night, all I got from my brother was just kind of like oh man, like, how about that, State? Quote, Dave Dorn special.
Yeah.
Which is like the attitude of, cool, they won, but damn, Dave. Like the classic Dave Dorn thing, right? And then he was asking about highest ranked wins and all that kind of stuff.
This is it, right?
For what?
For Dave Dorn.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a question for you. This is why I'm glad you're here and annoyed that you're here at the same time. So this morning, 7:24 in the morning, he clearly, I guess, saw the score. I don't know if he watched the game or not. And he sends me this text. If you're watching on YouTube, you get to see the image. It's a meme. I'll read it for you. It says, we fucking on the Will Wade bed tonight. Okay? Beating Georgia Tech on Saturday night did not elicit this response.
Got to give his wife a hell of a deal.
Poor Emily. So, no, not Saturday night.
Yeah.
Top 25 win over Georgia Tech. 114-point performance against Central in the season opener brings this about. And there are a lot of calls to the OG Sports phone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play them all, because a lot of them are directed at Giglio. Okay. This is why I'm kind of annoyed that Giglio with the schedule isn't here today. I will save those specific calls for Giglio and the reckoning and the exhibition discourse last week. We will save those calls for tomorrow. But here's where I'm glad you're here. You had no idea this was happening last night.
No clue.
But Will Wade's got the juice.
He does. And you know what's funny is hearing all of that, whether it is your brother or what is waiting for Giglio on the sports phone. It does kind of remind me of 2007, Nick Saban's first game at Alabama, because they opened up with Western Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no way that game was going to be interesting, but it was. We all had this feeling of, oh, it's going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
We're back, baby.
Yeah.
So I know where Wolfpack basketball fans are coming from right now. And not only do I empathize, I celebrate that you're here.
So the interesting thing when I say Will Wade has the juice, did you know that Lenovo Center, what is now Lenovo Center,
RBC Center in my book,
it's always going to be the rest. Thank you very much, Ray Otis. That building has not been sold out for a NC State home opener.
I can believe that.
Has not been sold out since the building opened in 1999. You want some peak? Let's remember some dudes.
Sure.
Again, I'm pulling this up on YouTube. Kyle sent this to me. He's got this poster. This belongs in a museum. If anybody has this, please send me one. I will pay top dollar. It belongs in the studio. This thing is so old. November 19th, 1999. I believe that was my fall semester junior year, if my math is correct here. CP&L. You know how many energy companies have changed over since CP&L?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm up to 4, I
I was
think.
about to say, it feels like it's been 2 in the last
Either
decade.
way,
So
that is some peak remember some dudes. I was there for the Russa opener against Georgia, in which they won. I was there too, because again, I was a student. I was in the student section.
this is 6 years before I came to the Triangle, so I'm really leaning in here to enjoy this.
I mean, I'm really zooming in hands here. There's Damon Thornton's up in here. Who else do we have in here? Anthony Grundy in the house. We got some dudes up in here. Where's Kenny Inge? Is Kenny Inge in here? I think so. Anyway, I have to. That's some peak. Remember some dudes, mind you. Since 1999, there have been 2 instances that you would go, well, of course they sold it out, but they didn't. The first one would be Sidney Lowe's first game as head coach of NC State. Now, of course, that one was, oh, love you mean it, Sid. Forever grateful, 1983. But you weren't the coach we wanted.
Exactly. I mean, I think this is so diametrically opposed to Sidney Lowe, where you didn't hear 6 no's before you found somebody willing to even talk to you.
So that one, not a sellout. And of course, last year after NC State and Kevin Keatts, who is now an ESPN ACC network contributor.
Oh, good for him.
We might be, hopefully we will talk to Kevin Keatts here soon as a network contributor. That'll be kind of, that'll be an interesting.
Are he and Dave Clawson roommates when they have to go up to Bristol?
When they go up to the hotel just outside of Bristol that everybody has to stay at. So Kevin Keatts, they win the ACC championship. They go to the Final Four. They have a banner raising ceremony. That wasn't sold out.
That one surprises me.
Which told you and kind of set the table for how the rest of the season was going to go in the general attitude, which gets us to last night. And what really last night was about to me, it was setting a tone. Just like North Carolina last night at the Smith Center. They blow out their season opening opponent, which they should have. And Caleb Wilson with the dunks and how they looked set the tone. I don't know what the season's how it's gonna play out for either of these teams. Obviously, Will Wade's come in with a lot of promises. Hubert Davis has a lot on the line with his job with how this season goes. And of course, Duke plays tonight against Texas. And it's a real damn shame that NC State's not playing these teams twice. Who are the brilliant schedule makers that decided,
Wizards?
We got Will Wade in the juice, and Carolina's got this really dynamic guy in Caleb Wilson. I know what we're gonna do. They'll play once this year. Real smart, guys. Real smart. Anyway, I will give this to Will Wade and why last night was a show, and he delivered on the show. You've got the reckoning. You've got him, as I joked yesterday, in a Notre Dame-esque way, waking up the echoes by invoking Jimmy V.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you really got to be about that life if you're invoking Jimmy V. You're basically pressing all the right buttons for people our age and older that remember a time in which NC State actually had tradition, was discussed as a top-tier team in the ACC, and had not been relegated to the B tier against Wake Forest on a night that Duke and Carolina were playing.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's done a really good job pressing those buttons right down to they trotted out the old fake noise machine, the noise meter with the lights. Okay. So you're hitting all those nostalgia buttons, and then you delivered that performance. You also had a tech when you were up 50.
Right.
Which again, showman. He knows what he's doing. He was begging for that tech because he knew I'm going to give these people a show, and I'm going to set the tone for the rest of the year.
Right.
So kudos to him on that. And he's also done a very good job, him and his social media team have done a very good job of tapping into the students and the younger fans who have no recollection of 1983. They hear the stories in 1983, but there's no personal connection to it. And they're just trying to tap into what kids care about today. And I think they've done a good job with that as well with their social media stuff. And then they delivered it last night with this emphatic win. He's got the juice. Dave Doran does not have the juice.
No, he doesn't. And it's interesting because I think part of the reason Will has the juice is because the hiring reminds me so much of the Doran hiring in that.
In what way?
Okay, so Doran was hired, 12 or 13?
It was 13 years ago. So, yeah.
Okay. So remember, they're coming off of, he's coming off of taking Northern Illinois to the BCS at a time when a group of 5 champion was not guaranteed a spot in a major bowl at all.
Yeah.
Right. He is the hottest candidate on the market at that point. And Debbie decides that's our guy, goes out, gets it done. There is no opportunity for anybody else to sway him one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
It felt very similar with Will Wade and NC State. As soon as the guillotine dropped on Kevin Keats, you heard the rumors immediately that Will was the white whale of this search. And by the time the clock hits 0 in the NCAA championship, everybody knows this is happening. Will Wade is coming to Raleigh. Will Wade did not lose that job at LSU because of performance. He lost it because he was dumb enough to get recorded, breaking rules that no longer exist now.
Yeah.
The expectation that good enough will not be good enough anymore for NC State is what sticks with me about the Dave Doran hire back when it happened. And it feels very similar with the basketball team right now. Now, obviously with Dave, good enough has become good enough. Good enough has become like, oh God, if we could just get to good enough.
I mean, I don't even know. Now. I mean, I don't even know if good enough is what they've been doing. Dave is just another version of
that's what I mean. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that like Dave now invokes that same emotion. I'm saying when Dave got hired, there was that same level of NC State can do this as well as anyone in the country. When we put our mind to going out and getting a dude, we can get a dude.
I don't remember it that way.
Okay.
I don't remember it that way. I do agree that Doran was of the time. The way it was sold to us is that here's this dynamic guy, young guy, will connect, can recruit. And he did some wacky stuff at Northern Illinois, and that was going to translate over to NC State. We never saw any of that.
Right.
Okay. What we saw out of the gate was Dave Doran having questions about why is everybody leaving at halftime. Like Dave never actually understood what the culture was.
Yeah.
At the beginning. And there have been a lot of like people still upset about some of the ways he's interacted with the fans.
Dave Doran coached Northern Illinois like he was a coach in the MAC, and he's coached NC State like what he was before that, a defensive coordinator at Wisconsin.
You got to understand who your people are.
Yeah, for sure.
Which again gets back to Will Wade and why you've seen the reaction that you've been getting out of Will Wade and why everybody is losing their mind. What'd you call it? Wolfpack boner?
Yeah.
So the Wolfpack boner is full mast right now because he's giving red meat to the people who want this stuff. It's the same people who get wistful over Debbie Yao getting on social media and battling with folks. Like you got to tap into that, which is something that Dave periodically does here and there. But there's one thing that we don't know about Will Wade going forward. Okay. He can give you all the red meat. Now where the real reckoning happens is, hey, you got Kansas on the schedule. How you going to do with that, right? More importantly, hey, you and Carolina are basically in the same boat.
Right.
And there have been worse Carolina teams that have come into that building and won. What are you going to do with Carolina? Right. And obviously you got to make the NCAA tournament and everything else.
Listen, I think this is a situation that NC State probably has not been in decades. When that Carolina team that talent-wise you're probably equally matched with comes into Lenovo Center, you've got the better coach now. Like you do.
Yeah.
There's no excuse this year.
That is where things get interesting for Will Wade.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
The OG Sports Phone is brought to you by Nature's Relief. Check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com, RELEAF hempstore.com. Like I said, we did receive a lot of calls that were directed at Giglio. To be fair to Giglio, we will save those for when he's back tomorrow. Let's go to a 919.
Hey, what's up, guys? Just calling after the State NCCU game. Not much to talk about the game because I don't know what you can kind of take away from NCCU playing, but I'm just curious, man. Like, so I was there when they hung the banner for the Final Four appearance, and I think there were actually more people there tonight than there were for the banner hanging, which was a first in 30 years. So I think the topic that really needs to be discussed is, are NC State fans too in love with Will Wade? Like, are we hyping him up too much? Are we setting ourselves up for failure? So what I would like for you guys to do is set the table. What is the actual realistic expectation for this team this year? Not the fan fiction, we're going to the championship and everyone's going to have to bow down to us. What is this is a success, this is a failure, this is the gray area for Will Wade this year? Because right now it feels like there's a good amount of dick riding going on, and we might need to actually set the table for what is the actual expectation here.
I love that call. All right, couple things. I actually think it's okay to get in
dick
on the Wolfpack bed.
Right.
Got to be on the Wolfpack bed.
Yeah.
With a Will Wade pillow. I think it's okay to put your arms around the hype.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to say, nah, we're here. We're going to be good. We're going to tap into the nostalgia. We're going to wake up the echoes of Jimmy V, and we're going to get back to this. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Have a little big dick energy once in a while. And I think the biggest problem with NC State in basketball the last couple of years, it has been small dick energy.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to be, man, we're earning the E on today's podcast, okay? So you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
If you got BDE, cool. Now you got to go. Now this is where things get a little interesting. You got to follow through on that. You got to be Pete Davidson. You have to have a roster of women that you've been able to date because you got that BDE. But I think NC State's biggest problem is coaches have come in and they've been demure about a lot of stuff. Mark Godfrey talked about, tough neighborhood. Kevin Keats, I liked our conversations with Kevin Keats and forever grateful, but Kevin Keats never was like about that shit.
Yeah.
He said Kevin Keats is a winner. Cool. But what about State?
Right.
Are you going to make State a winner? And that's where I think Will Wade's coming in. And I think it's perfectly fine to do that. What are reasonable expectations for NC State?
All right. Auburn has a nepotism hire as their head coach.
Yeah.
Auburn became a basketball school in the last 10 years, and they absolutely fumbled it when Bruce Pearl retired. Before they play NC State, Auburn, currently ranked number 20, will play number 7 Michigan, and that will come after they play Oregon and number 2 Houston. There is a very real chance that Auburn is coming into that game with 3 losses.
I see what you get at.
If Will Wade loses that one, even though we think Auburn probably has more talent, what does that do to the hype train?
People are going to get I think it's more along the lines of Carolina fans enjoying the Schadenfreude.
Yeah,
that's what it'll be. It'll be Carolina fans enjoying the Schadenfreude. That's what that'll be about.
That's fair. So after that, then you have Asheville and Liberty both coming to Lenovo. Kansas comes to Lenovo.
This is where we get into the expectations aspect of it. So,
and then Texas Southern, and then Ole Miss comes to Lenovo.
Yeah. What are the Chris Beard is here to talk about Ole Miss basketball. What are the reasonable expectations for NC State this year and the reckoning and all that kind of stuff? It is, like I said, beating Kansas is on there, especially the way that you've been talking. Well, all right, you lose to Kansas. Well, how did it play out?
Yeah,
that's the context I need.
I think if you lose to Kansas, even though it's on the road, you better beat Auburn and you better beat Ole Miss. You've got to win the majority of the power conference opponents on your schedule.
It's how the game against Kansas goes. It was a close loss. Okay, then we can have a conversation because it is November basketball. And I stay consistent with my feelings about November basketball, although in this particular case, it's the middle of December, but you get my point. But I think the more interesting part is going to be in the ACC and what we know of the ACC. It is top 3 finish.
Yep.
Beating Carolina. The Duke game, you can go either way, and you got to be playing in the semifinals Friday night at the ACC tournament. I'm not saying you have to get to the finals. You just have to be playing in the semifinals that night, and obviously getting to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
I think
those are reasonable expectations.
Those are reasonable expectations.
I think those are reasonable expectations.
Okay. I don't know that deep of an ACC tournament run in year one is necessarily reasonable, but you're talking semifinals, not better win the whole thing. Like, that's pretty tempered, I think.
Yeah, because again, I do think that
I just don't think they're going to be there.
You don't think they're going to be there on a Friday night?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I think that I don't know, other than history tells me they probably won't.
But see, here's the problem. And this is the mistake that you're making. I think a lot of people are making. History don't mean shit with Will Wade.
Hey, guys, I just want to point out, I don't know how much y'all paid attention to this, but Will Wade getting a tech, I mean a emphatic tech, up 50. And I don't want to read too much into things, but I think what he's saying is he's sending a message to other officials that are going to come in that this is his court, this is his house, and you're going to call things the right way, and that he's not going to get pushed around. That's exactly what I think he was doing. And maybe I'm wrong, but it looked to me that was the case. Thank you. And keep up the great work.
I was going to say, what about the spread? What about the spread? No, I think you're not reading too much into that.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning, that is a calculated move by Will Wade to show you things are different. He's a showman. He is bringing the show.
Yeah, the only thing the caller got wrong is it a message to the officials? Maybe. It's more of a message to the fans.
It's the message to the fans that we're going to fight.
Right.
It's simple as that. And again, I will continue to pound the table on this particular thing. NC State has not had a coach that has the BDE that Will Wade is bringing, and you're going to have to get used to that sort of thing. That's a welcome change. Let's go to 1919.
Hey, OG, NC State moderator here. I'm not a smoker, but I think I need a cigarette after that. Will Wade got me feeling some kind of way after that performance. Giglio, I think you said this once as a great philosophical statement. Good teams cover, or good teams win, great teams cover. Is that right? So what do you call that? That was pretty nice. Man, I think the free chicken with both those missed free throws, followed up by the three-pointer that put us at 100, just summed up tonight and was the perfect moment of just a nice release of, we have a chance to do something special. Anyways, good night.
Needed a cigarette after that, eh?
Anytime, as much as basketball on the pro and college level has become all about the three-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
You get used to so many misses, and the way the game is played now, you miss and nobody goes for an offensive rebound. I can understand needing a cigarette, like that feeling of euphoria when not only do you get to watch this beleaguered team deliver a beatdown, but the ball barely touched the floor when they were shooting three-pointers last night.
Yeah, it was pretty wild last night. Every time we talk about the ACC, it's brought to you by our friends at Bloom & Blinds. Check them out online at bloominblinds.com. That's INBlinds.com. We've got a couple of After Darks coming up. We are setting up for the Bill Belichick, as Giglio jokingly called it, the Bill Belichick Triangle Good Vortex. 3 weeks of Bill Belichick Vortex. After they get past Stanford, which I'm guessing they'll have no Bill Belichick versus Frank Reich. How do you think that's going to go?
Well, I mean, I would have said Mike Norvell versus Frank Reich. How do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, well, good point. So we got that, and then got Wake Forest, Duke, and then NC State. We will be doing the After Darks for those games. And, of course, it's all brought to you by Bloom & Blinds. Yes, Carolina played last night, too. Yes, Caleb Wilson put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned earlier, I think it's all great. I think the conversations around basketball are going to be elevated. We'll have some more thoughts on that a little bit later on. But I wanted to get back to Dave Dorn and the juice.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is the type of reaction we're getting after a win over Central in the home opener, and we just saw NC State get it done against Georgia Tech on Saturday night. Not the same vibe.
Not at all.
Very amusing. And we also have the news that Auburn is moving on from Hugh Freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the SEC knowers who looked at the tee times for Hugh Freeze and figured out, oh, he canceled. Something's up.
Right.
Well done. Just absolutely well done.
As an SEC knower, Joe, I have to point out where you are correct or where you're incorrect.
Where was I incorrect?
He did not cancel. It was canceled on him.
Oh, it was canceled on him.
Yes.
Ah, okay. See, I thought he canceled it.
No, sir.
Oh, even better. Even better. So I bring this up because it adds to the pile of these jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we get into I'm glad Demetri is here today, as opposed to, oh man, Demetri's got to talk ACC basketball today. You poor suckers. But no, Demetri's here to sprinkle a little bit of his SEC Alabama elitism and tell NC State fans, are you sure?
Well,
are you sure? Because all these jobs have opened up.
Yeah.
On top of other names getting contract extensions, which is natural in this cycle.
Sure.
But this is a wild coaching hiring cycle. Adding Auburn to a list that includes Penn State. That includes, what am I missing here? Florida. LSU. And then, of course, all the things that kind of bubble up with that. And there's been a general attitude that the sports phone has filled up with, and you seem to have, in that, why does NC State want to go into a job market that is flooded with jobs, and that you're going to put yourself in a position where you're not going to get the kind of candidate that you think you could get?
Yeah, it's not even just that they're flooded with jobs. I will say this, even as an Alabama guy, boy, this should be really easy for Auburn. John Summerall wants to be the coach at Auburn.
Yeah.
I think even if John Summerall was the coach at UNC right now, he would be the coach at Auburn next year. This should be pretty easy. Auburn will fuck it up. But divorce Auburn from this for a second.
Yeah.
You mentioned all of the extensions. Curt Cignetti, Matt Rule. You talk about I think you didn't mention Arkansas. People forget Arkansas's got money, man.
They do have money, and Bobby Petrino is not exactly doing a good job of trying to get that job.
Yeah, and the guy they want, Rhett Lashley, he just got an extension.
Yes.
So now, to me, the question for NC State is not so much about can you compete for the top tier names. It is, if the top tier names are off the board, now the top tier jobs are fishing in the pool that you think you should be fishing in. I don't know if you saw Pete Thamel's report on Saturday that Virginia Tech and James Franklin are already pretty far down the road.
Yeah, that sent a lot of NC State fans into a spiral.
I've been telling, so I do a regular hit with Jocks down in Birmingham, which is the big sports radio station.
Yeah.
Across Alabama and really across the SEC. And I've been saying that I don't understand what's taking NC State so long. Like, they're going to get leapfrogged on what would be their perfect candidate in James Franklin. And it looks like that's what's happening. I think that if Matt Rule and Curt Cignetti are off the board, well, now a guy that I think would be really great at NC State, Bob Chesney at James Madison, is very much in play for Penn State. A guy who I think would be good at NC State, not just because he has experience in the area, but because NC State has a long history of going down to Florida and to the Gulf Coast to get great players. Charles Huff at Southern Miss, well, he's very much in play for Arkansas now. And given how fucked up things are at LSU, he might be in play for LSU.
See, the mistake that you're making here is that none of these guys have a Notre Dame tie.
Is that the necessity?
That's the mistake that you're making.
Okay.
You got to remember who the AD is at NC State, Boo Corrigan. And there's this Notre Dame mafia that exists, and they all hire, some sort of connection there.
Well, shit. Why am I talking about Marcus Freeman to NC State?
There we go. No, I mean, the name that people keep floating out, I know Giglio's on this kick too, is Tommy Rees.
Oh, brother, listen.
I'm just saying. This is why, hey, I don't disagree with your overall sentiment.
Yeah.
I just don't think you understand the AD we're dealing with here.
No,
you're making sound sense. You got to remember so let's go back to the start of this conversation and the Dave Dorn thing and who hired Dave Dorn.
Right.
And how Will Wade got to NC State. It wasn't Boo's first choice.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the money people saying, nah, dude, this is the guy we want, and we're going to get this freaking guy.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a larger conversation about what exact roles do these ADs have?
No, for sure.
And the AD might have it. I mean, we saw this with Bubba Cunningham at UNC. But Bubba could have hired any of these names that you just brought up, like a John Summerall. But then, of course, we saw all it took was a Marco Rubio phone call to be broken off. And next thing you know, Bill Belichick is the freaking coach.
Yeah.
So we are in uncharted territory with how these things kind of play out. But the one thing I think you're missing here is a deep understanding of what NC State is with Boo Corrigan and what you've got. See, you've got SEC football brain. NC State's not operating with SEC football brain.
So I am going to acknowledge I am not thinking of Boo Corrigan as an individual here, because to me, this is not just does NC State want to be out here in these streets.
Okay.
This is same thing about, hey, if I'm Wisconsin, I think long and hard about, can I stomach one more year of Luke Fickell rather than jumping to.
See, I think what you're walking up the line to, but you haven't jumped over it is NC State willing to stomach another year of Dave Doran?
Oh, yeah, no, I think NC State should be willing to stomach another year of Dave Doran.
Dude.
Because, like, there is no evidence that next year, regardless of who you get, there's no evidence you're going into the portal and building a world beater.
Well, the problem is that if the sentiment around the program is, you look at the recruiting, you look at the investment, you need something to jumpstart that.
Yeah.
And we saw this last year with Dave Doran and the money that ended up going to that program.
Yeah.
I think NC State is an avatar for 99% of college football programs out there. Okay. What are the reasonable expectations at NC State? And can you get a coach that is at replacement level and then gives you something a little bit more that raises those expectations?
Yeah.
Because I do think it's fair for an NC State fan at this point in time to look at Dave Doran and go, all right, so let me get this straight. You got wins over Virginia and Georgia Tech, top 25 wins in a year in which, once again, it's wide freaking open that, hold up, Duke's in the hunt, Virginia's in the hunt, Georgia Tech is in the hunt, and we're losing to an interim coach at Virginia Tech? That's what you're telling me. And we no-show against Pat Narduzzi, who's in the same boat as Dave Doran, by the way, at Pitt, and they still are somehow in the hunt. So you see what I'm getting at? That at some point you just go, hey, man, you've had multiple cracks at this. Love you, mean it. It's probably time to go in a different direction.
I agree. It's time to go in a different direction.
And also, on top of going in a different direction and how you go about this and that, how much money are you going to be paying? Because this is also, I think, where you're making the mistake with NC State. You're coming at it from the attitude that NC State's going to throw $10 million at a coach.
No, I'm saying they're not going to throw $10 million at a coach.
They can't do that. So you find your diamond in a rough. And that's the other mistake that I think we make. Is what I'm really getting at. What's this attitude that Lane Kiffin's going to work at any of these jobs? What's this attitude that John Summerall is going to work at any of these jobs? Because I think this is the real issue that's happening in the SEC. They still got Nick Saban brain.
Sure.
Everything that was ever done in the SEC, like the Iron Bowl matchups, like we've never had the same two coaches coach in the Iron Bowl, like in the last 8 years or something like that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because like somebody's always getting fired at Auburn for the most part, right? Anyway, so the point is that what are SEC programs going after now? Because it used to be simple. Well, shit, we got to beat Nick.
Right.
So either get somebody from his wayward home of of fired coaches, or some guy you think is going to surpass the master, the Padawan that's going to overtake Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And then we saw how that always played out, right? So who are you gunning for right now?
Well, I think
is it Kirby Smart?
Oh,
who are you gunning at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Kirby. I actually think now it has shifted to programs and not dudes. Like you're gunning for Georgia and Texas.
Is that what you're going for?
I think so.
But what does even that get you? Like at Texas?
Well, here's the thing, and here's why. Will Lane work out? Listen, I am as surprised as anybody that Lane has become the prettiest boy in the room, because
that's indicative of where we're at.
But it's indicative of where we're at in terms of our coach brain in the SEC, but it is also indicative of where we're at with college football, because Lane works the portal better than anybody.
Okay.
And so I do think, given the new landscape of college sports where you can flip a roster entirely in a year, Lane has proven that he can do that and hold a certain level of quality. Now,
at Ole Miss,
which, I mean, listen, to me, at Ole Miss, that's difficulty points. I mean,
but I think it's more difficult to do at a place like Florida that still thinks.
No, I disagree. No, I disagree completely, because Ole Miss has a long history of choosing to be bad because they want to keep the tradition. And I'm not just talking about the Confederate flag. They want to be in a smaller stadium. They want to be, they want to be all these kind of things. I think Lane Kiffin in LSU, where not only is there more money, but he would be at the lone program that matters in the state, can win a national championship.
I just think there's
can win more than one national championship.
To tie this all back into reckonings, I do think there's a reckoning at certain schools in the SEC that want it one way, but it's the other way. And you're seeing, Nick Saban complains about this all the time with Pat McAfee or on the College Game Day set, and that, the money. Oh, weird. It's weird that when the money's flowing, you ain't special anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of these schools are going to find themselves in that situation where you're just not special.
Speaking of Nick Saban and College Game Day, do you think there is something eating Dave Dorn up inside of just go ahead and fire me so I get my spotlight on College Game Day? Go ahead and fire me so I can get the friendly audience.
No, he wants to get fired because he's got 4 years left on his contract and he wants that damn money. I respect the hustle. Housekeeping is brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
You good? You going to stay for this one?
I was about to say, I'd like to point out I have not pooped once today.
Good for you. Good for you. Big thanks. Big thanks, Enovana. Maybe Demetri visited your house. Yeah, it's time to call Enovana. They can clean that bathroom up for you. Enovana.com. In all seriousness, we are officially into the holiday family gathering time. You probably need to get that house cleaned up before the judgy in-law comes to the house. So get it cleaned.
Yeah.
One time only if you want. You can do that with Enovana. So check them out online at enovana.com. Speaking of the holidays, who doesn't want a little OG under the tree? May I introduce you to the OG TriangleMediaShop.com website. Watching on YouTube right now, you will see the OG Winter Pop-Up Shop.
Joe Ovies, am I looking at a full zip hoodie?
Full zip hoodies!
My goodness.
2 types of full zip hoodies.
I didn't know our technology had advanced to that
We
point.
have gotten to that point thanks to our friends at Base 6. Mikey P came up with the designs. Base 6 doing the full zip hoodie thing here. You got one with a patch on the chest with the 5 stars only on the sleeve. You've got another embroidered OG with the 5 stars. And then the design on the back that says OG Media with the triangle in the back and all that kind of stuff. We did put the Drunk Wolf on a pullover hoodie. I know how you feel about that kind of stuff. And then we've got the great, I want to take this hour of radio off debate. No, not as a hot dog, a sandwich. No, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? No, not that. What do you call these things? Are they beanies, toboggans, wool caps? I don't know.
Who just calls them wool caps?
I don't know.
Animals. That's
so
it.
Call the number 919-444-2211 and kill an hour of radio for us.
Sure.
Mount Rushmore of lazy radio. Is it a beanie? Is it a toboggan?
Listen, next time I'm in, Mount Rushmore of winter clothing.
So all of that is at ogtrianglemediashop.com. Speaking of Christmas, we are in the planning stages of doing a YouTube live guerrilla style parade coverage from State of Beer. Hayes Permar will be man on the street.
Okay.
That'll happen for the Raleigh Christmas Parade. I don't know how long it's going to go.
Yeah.
But we're going to try it. We'll see what happens. I figured out the technology. We're good to go.
When you say you don't know how long it's going to go, is the concern that ABC 11 will come and knock you off the block?
No.
And say, this is our territory?
No, because there's somebody else who does it too.
No, right. Fair.
You're going to come after us? little old YouTubers?
Yeah.
No. I think we're fine. So yeah, that's going to happen for the Raleigh Christmas Parade. We're still in the planning stages, but I do have the technology right. Now it's just a matter of, are we really going for like 3 hours here?
You have the technology or a computer?
Well, no. So like, where's the setup going to be?
Oh, sure.
How's the camera setup going to be?
Hayes
is going to be roving. How do I make that work?
Well, you just patch him in with his phone, right?
Well, we got a phone.
Yeah.
I got the Rode's got the wireless thing now. And actually it's been upgraded that it magnets to the back of your phone, and it has a little fake mic stand now. So you can go around like a roving reporter. It's fantastic. It's fantastic stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Just like you should be on the lookout for the Rowback holiday gift guide. Go to rowback.com. Use that promo code OG20. Like I did. It finally arrived. Look at this fleece bad boy.
Ooh, baby.
This is a Hardy fleece shirt jacket. So
man, that's a good looking
this is going
jacket.
to be fantastic at the rink.
Yeah.
Because I'm always trying to find things that legitimately keep me warm at rinks and doesn't cut through.
Yeah.
This thing is going to get it done.
The back collar striping reminds me that in their last round of school introductions, they dropped my wife's alma mater, Georgetown,
Oh, did
They did, and so that is going to make figuring out what to get my runner wife for Christmas.
There you go. So go to roback.com, use that promo code OG20 to drop new stuff all the time. You're probably wondering, man, I'm spending all this money on Roback. I got to refinance. Yeah, you do. You do.
Good hoodies ain't cheap.
You're right.
And
you know,
hoodies ain't good.
how am I going to support all these OG corporate champions?
Mhm.
How am I going to buy all these hoodies from the OG TriangleMediaShop.com? You refinance.
Yep.
You basically use the equity in your home to buy all these things. So go to MillerLending.com/the-OG or call them directly at 919-447-3377. You tell Gordon the crew, hey, I'm spending so much money on OG stuff. I got to use the equity in my home. Cool?
Right.
We got you. Let's consolidate debt. Let's go. Look, all jokes aside, the one thing that's important to know about Miller Lending is they are going to tell you whether it's the right decision or the wrong time to refinance. I've been told, don't do it right now.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense for you to do it right now. They're not rushing you to go refinance and then taking those closing costs and enjoying a bonus or something like that.
Right.
This is
A
about
bunch of Roback hoodies.
This is all about making sure that you're making the right financial decision. So go to MillerLending.com/the-OG. And speaking of the holidays, you have an outdoor kitchen, you've got your smoker, you've been using it for tailgate season, but you want to make sure that it's peak performance once the family comes over and you're hosting. That's why you got to contact ncgrillrescue.com.
No need to bury your barbecue. Call NC Grill Rescue. And now it's time for your NC Grill Rescue of the week.
Check them out, ncgrillrescue.com. Schedule a deep clean of your outdoor kitchen, your grill, even your Weber, whatever you need to get done. They'll do it for you. The NC Grill Rescue of the week is Joe Giglio. Y'all, in the sports phone, we're gonna have to do like an intervention for some of you. People I keep getting alerts from Google about the voicemails coming in. Even some of the texts, like, I saw Giglio at the game last night. What's he think? Well, you'll find out tomorrow. Find out tomorrow. All the calls that I talked about, I saved those specific calls for when Giglio's here so that he could address them. I'm not going to address them for him. He's a big boy.
Right.
So he will address those calls tomorrow. But based on some of the messages that we've been getting, he might need the NC Grill Rescue for the reckoning and everything else. So, you do a podcast for our YouTube channel.
I do.
Called This Team Is Killing Us. Are they, though? Are the Panthers killing you? They're 5-4. They just got the big win over the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, Demetri. You and Lauren can't be down in your feelings, can you?
No, in fact, so every week the show begins with me introducing Lauren and I, and then telling Lauren what is killing me this week, as then we get into the show. And what is killing me this week, Joe, is I may have been wrong about Dave Canales being terrible at this.
Yeah.
Because it's not just what impressed me on Sunday was not just that they won. It's that he had a game plan that took into account, let's limit the opportunities for our quarterback to make mistakes. We are not going to ask Bryce to throw, and we're sure as hell not going to ask him to throw deep in this win.
So it was interesting in kind of looking back at the game, and because I had the same thought as you did. And you try to be fair. And I have banged on Dave Canales for some of the decision making. I'm still annoyed about how he handled Chuba Hubbard's return when Rico Dowdle was running hot. And look at that. Keep feeding Rico, and your game plan can actually be executed.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do think there's an element of shame that played into that. But you give Dave Canales for actually going, oh, you know what? Maybe that was a mistake. And adapting and going, all right, I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. Let's give ourselves the best chance to win. And I do think that the way they played against Green Bay can recontextualize that Buffalo game.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, let's think about this. If you not only Rico Dowdle and you start feeding him the ball, you can see that you're right in that bright. We got our answer on the Andy Dalton, Bryce Young thing. In that Bryce is still not that guy.
Yeah.
But I think Bryce and Dave Canales know what they are.
Yeah.
And you can go out there, like we saw on Sunday against Green Bay, And yes, there was a turnover, but you can limit those kinds of things and give yourself a better chance to win, which Andy just didn't in that game against Buffalo, where it was a disaster with him under center.
And I don't think that this is a matter of like Andy is not as smart as Bryce. I think Bryce's superpower is his game processing.
Sure.
I do think you saw that pass to Tedero and McMillan that clearly is thrown in a way that Bryce thinks he's going to thread the needle and it's going to go right to T-Mac.
Mhm.
And instead, the corner gets his hands on it and T-Mac just rips it away. Like, I think there is an understanding of who his weapons are and what they do well that Bryce is moving along with that then makes it possible for Dave Canales to have the confidence to say, hey, Bryce, we're going to take the ball out of your hands today because of these factors.
Yeah.
And he does not have to worry about his quarterback mentally falling to pieces.
Once you get to 5-4 and you pull off what you did on Sunday, you leave people no choice but to reassess you.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday, after we got away from the usual hits of the day, and obviously Dallas losing last night will rekindle the Dallas obsession and how we talk about the Cowboys and everything else like that. There were sprinkles of people going, hey, Panthers, 5-4. Maybe we got this wrong with you.
Yeah.
Are you good? What do we make of this? Are you going to make the wild card? Are you going to win the division? Because, I mean, you still got to play the Saints. You got the Falcons again, obviously. And then Tampa, I still think, is the best team in the division.
I think it's possible they're the best team in the NFC right now.
Could be. That remains to be seen. So I have where I was wrong in that the Panthers were going to be a type of team that anytime they won this year, it wasn't going to be about what they're doing right. It's going to be about what the other team is doing wrong.
Yeah.
There were elements of that with Green Bay. If you trust nobody, why should I, and this is me just kind of playing this out in real time with my brain and the Panthers, if you don't trust anybody, why am I going into games with the Panthers so pessimistically?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when this episode drops, we will be just a couple of hours from the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Lauren and I have very different views on what the Panthers should do at the deadline. To Lauren, one move is not going to suddenly make this team a contender, so why give up draft capital?
I agree.
I disagree. Because at some point, you have to inject a different level of talent into this team. And if you have the chance to get, like the guy that I'm on right now, Rick Woolen, the corner in Seattle, if you have a chance to put him instead of Mike Jackson next to JC Horn, or I guess opposite JC Horn, I don't think that cartoonish drop in the end zone happens.
Okay. I am consistently of the mind that the draft or the salary cap isn't real, money isn't real, or any of that stuff. But there is something that is real: draft capital.
Okay. So tell me the last time you saw this team draft a guy in round 2.
But that is a them problem. That is a skill issue.
Oh, right. It's a them problem.
Now
There's still them.
No, but now we don't know. We have to get. I'm of the opinion you got to give Dan Morgan a little bit of time to see if we actually can do this.
Okay.
And also on top of that, look at how they were stripped of all this draft capital for doing dumb moves.
Okay.
Because we've seen the opposite of it. Like, all right, we're going to be in on every deal. What does that get you? Giving up good assets, giving up good young talent to show for what?
Yeah.
A worse situation, compounding mistakes.
Yeah.
So, I want to, with the Panthers, it's almost like, hey, being on every deal, trying to be like you're the Rams, like that has not worked for you.
Yeah.
So let's dial it back, see what you got this season, which was always part of a rebuilding process. And then next year is where you really try to make some moves if you think you have it.
Okay. So logically, everything you're saying makes sense.
Okay.
I will say that I think giving Dan the benefit of the doubt, I do think there is a major, major difference between him and let's just say Scott Fitterer.
Yeah.
I was going to say the front office structure that made some of those bad deals. But I think in reality, a lot of Panthers fans kind of believe that Scott Fitterer was there so that Dave Tepper could play GM and just rubber stamp whatever it was Dave wanted to do.
That's fair.
I think Dan has a better handle on what this team is, what is out there in the league. And I think that when you look at all the improvements they made to an historically bad defense from 2024, what is undeniable is they got better by virtue of adding Marin at safety. And then they just stopped in the secondary. Nick Scott's a problem.
I'll give
Mike Jackson is not as much of a problem as I thought he'd be, but there's no way you're going to sell me on he is worth keeping in place all season.
I'll give you and Lauren credit, though. You know, the Panthers haven't been good.
Yeah.
The Panthers haven't necessarily been compelling. Yet you and Lauren have found creative ways to keep talking about the Panthers.
Mhm.
You never quit.
Yeah.
You know, at first it was, hey, here's Bryce Young. You're going to be in on this rookie season. He was your prince, your little tiny prince.
Still is.
And then didn't work out. So let's pivot. Let's call this podcast, This Team is Killing Us.
Mm-hmm.
How are they killing us today? Right?
Mhm.
You never gave up on them. MeowMix gave up. MeowMix, a Carolina Panthers podcast,
Well-
gave up on the Panthers.
Joe, you know my belief is
Well-
they got bullied into giving up. To actually give
Well,
it up.
let's give some context here, because this is where we really get deep into the weeds of sports, social media,
Yeah.
and podcasts and things like that. You will remember that at the beginning of October, after the Panthers were embarrassed by the New England Patriots, there was this Panthers podcast that admittedly I had never heard of.
Mhm.
But then again, there's a lot of people who've never heard of us, so
Yeah.
it's whatever. MeowMix put out a statement saying, guys, this team's just not worth it anymore.
Mhm.
All the time and the effort we put into this, it's coming at a cost to our family time.
Yeah.
So we're just not going to do this anymore. Okay. I was like, cool. Spend time with your family, man. You know, the reason why I didn't go to the reckoning last night is because I was with my younger son and we had hockey practice and I'm
Yep.
shuttling him around. So I am utilizing this very finite amount of time to spend it with my kids before, especially my 17-year-old is off to college
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, right? So I get where these people are coming from. But then a funny thing happened when they quit. I reached out to them because I thought, hey, man, let's get you on.
Yeah.
I find this interesting.
They were 1-3 at the time. They were coming off of like the just embarrassment
Yeah.
in New England.
In New England. So I reached out to them. Never heard back. I left a
Mhm.
comment on their YouTube page. I DM'd them. I never heard back. Then I saw they went on with like Pardon My Take.
Yeah.
And they did like media tour. And I went, oh, okay. Okay. To your credit, you sniffed this out.
Yeah, for sure.
They have gone 4-1 since the MeowMix podcast
Mhm.
called it quits
Mhm.
because this team's just not worth covering anymore. And they tweeted out after the Green Bay win, and I have it on the screen for YouTube, we'll be back this week with a bunch of exclamation points. When they put that tweet out, do you think in their minds they went, man, people cannot wait for us to be back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you thought, like, oh man, they won. People know who we are now because we quit on them, but now we're back. And I bet people are really excited to hear us again because we're back. Do you think they actually thought that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know why? Because when you say that, oh, this just isn't worth it to our family time, and you talk about that Lauren and I are creative enough to have found a way to keep talking about this team, I get it. Watching the Panthers is a bummer when they were as bad as they were.
Yes.
But guys, like, if you are good at this, talking about them when they're this bad is fucking easy.
Yeah.
Like, it's shooting fish in a barrel easy. So do I think MeowMix thought, like, to me, from the get-go, I told you, I told Lauren, this is the most naked, obvious stunt I've ever seen. And I'm not mad at MeowMix. I'm mad at all of you for falling for it. Because Jesus Christ, why do you do this? Like, if you really were not planning on coming back, like big triumphant, like celebratory, oh,
Mhm.
good, MeowMix is back, you would have shut down the YouTube channel. You wouldn't be putting out all of these celebratory music video kind of things after each win. You
So-
told me.
So come to find out, and I said this yesterday. I said, no, guys.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't work that way.
right.
Either you stick with them or you don't. If you put out there that, hey, man, it's just not worth it anymore in my family, one of two things happened. Either it was a stunt and it paid off, and I don't give them that much credit. Or was it like, man, I'm spending time with my family and I hate this shit? Because that's another possibility.
Yeah.
You know, my family. And then you realize, and we see with coaches all the time, like, you know, I'm spending more time with my family and, you know, my daughter's of a certain age or my son's of a certain age. And then suddenly they get back into coaching and it's like, oh, they hate your ass.
Right.
Like, that's what it is. They hate your ass.
Right.
So,
Hello, Urban Meyer.
so is that what this is? The family's like, what are you doing here?
No, like, again, this is like how uncreative and strategic this is. They made it very clear They never stopped watching the Panthers. So what the fuck are we talking about?
So what's funny is, so they put this out. I make fun of it. A bunch of people make fun of it, and they say even though we planned to record last week before the results against Green Bay, wait a minute, you quit, but you were planning to come back before the Green Bay win. Okay, we won't be recording due to overwhelming response from former players. They weren't the only ones. We were just a small, fun podcast since 2019, and we needed a break from all the time we were putting into our show. So then why are you back?
Right.
Like, honestly, like, why are you back?
Right.
Is the break over? Was it just you're trying to ride the wave? Again, I'm convinced they thought they'd be coming back. They thought in their brains they'd be coming back as conquering heroes. And they get told, and here's the best part about it. Ike Ekwonu sees this, and he says, go ahead and stay where y'all are at. Number two, here's the other thing that I am convinced of. Do you even sport?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Because if you truly cared about the Carolina Panthers, if you were about that life, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I love this team. We're just a small podcast that really wanted to put our arms around this team because nobody really gets them. We love them. All right. You don't know ball.
Agreed.
The reason why I say you don't know ball, because if you were truly fans.
I'm sorry, not fans, ball knowers.
Ball knowers. If you were a true ball knower, you would know that it's all about you.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
It's about you, not them. So what ends up happening is what you should have done is you should have made it about yourself, that they are 4-1 since you quit. And because they're 4-1 since you quit, we're not coming back.
Right.
Because if you're truly a ball knower, you know superstition. You know how to make it about yourself. You are my dad. Okay? You are my dad. You go, hey, honey, the Dolphins were winning before you came in the living room.
Right.
And now they're losing. Get the fuck out the living room.
That's right.
Joey.
Ernie knows ball.
Joey. You know there's never been a Triple Crown winner in horse racing since you were born. Oh, so it's my fault.
Yeah, go be unborn.
So go die.
Yeah.
So we can get a Triple Crown winner.
Do it for the
Do
horses.
it for the
Joe.
horses. You see what I'm getting at here? You see what I'm getting at?
Totally. Listen.
So if you know ball, if you're a true fan, shout out to Woody Durham. Go where you go and do what you do. And so far, the Panthers have gone 4-1 since your ass is shut down. So why would you come back?
Yeah.
If you want the Panthers to succeed, you keep quiet, not come back as though, all right, guys, here we are. No, fuck you. Get out. Because with you on the sidelines, they're winning. Why do you want to fuck it up?
Joe, first of all, I want to welcome you to the right side of history.
Okay.
Secondly, I do want to point out, this is something I said to Joe off air, but I want to put it out there for you guys as well so you can start to recognize bullshit when you see it. When I first floated to Joe and Lauren, oh, no, this is a bit. Joe said, I don't give them credit for thinking forward like that. These are not sophisticated sports media brains.
Yes.
I think you are seeing on display. This is what not sophisticated sports radio brains think a stunt is because it backfired on them. It's not that it's not that you quit because they were bad and it worked and look at them now. It's you did a stunt and it backfired on you. And now you are backed into a quarter where the starting left tackle of this team is telling you, don't you fucking dare. You are off the bandwagon.
If you really want to be about that life, you're Carolina Mike. You do this organically.
Yes.
You don't stunt. You just keep showing up on the microphone and you keep singing your song while you're wearing your Carolina Panthers gear, and then you become a viral sensation.
If you had 150,000, what would you do? 150 grand in your head. Who's around? What up, down, now? I'm singing here the sound. If you had 150,000.
MeowMix has to be looking at Carolina Mike and punching air right now.
First of all, Carolina Mike, I want to shout out that one hand never leaves the belt buckle. That is the best singing stance I have ever seen. Second of all, I like that in this reality, in this economy,
yes,
he's keeping the money dreams realistic.
I love it.
150,000?
That's all I'm asking for, man.
Right.
Do you know what I could do with
Ladies,
150?
if I had $1 million, get the hell out of here.
Do you know what I could do with 150 grand?
A lot.
Damn,
A
man.
lot more than you can do right now.
Paying off a chunk of the house.
Joe, think about how you would never have to worry about Jacob breaking a skate again.
Well, no, you don't know the price of hockey.
No.
If I had $150,000, I'd be on DraftKings making all the parlays.
Sure.
That's what I would do.
Turn it into $350,000.
Why not? Why not? Looking at some NBA lines, we got the Hornets and the Pelicans. Pelicans minus 2.5, over 236.5. Give me the over. Let's go Hornets. I'm trying to get into the Hornets, man. I really am.
Oh, you poor son of a bitch.
I know. Speaking of the Carolina Panthers, their next game is against the New Orleans Saints. They are 5.5-point favorites against the Saints.
The Ravanos boys will be there.
Oh, very exciting.
Yes.
I wish I had a time to go. I might go sometime in December. But right now, the Carolina Panthers, I don't think anything has changed necessarily on the futures related to the Carolina Panthers. I am looking at the playoff odds, though, on the NFC side of things. The Carolina Panthers are plus 15,000 to be the number 1 seed. Playoffs.
All right.
I know. Playoffs, yes or no? Let me see if I can scroll to the Carolina Panthers here, because I got to imagine things are getting better for the Carolina Panthers right now that they are 5-4. But with the let me see here. Come on, scroll. Can I not find the Panthers here? They're on here somewhere, but I'm now just wasting time. I apologize. Regardless, you can do all sorts of fun stuff on DraftKings is the point. And may I remind you that the odds, the lines, they are all subject to change. So head on over to DraftKings. They're an official sports betting partner of the NBA as well. The place to bet on NBA stars this season. And new customers, you bet just $5. You'll get 3 months of NBA League Pass. Plus, score $300 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use that promo code OG25. Again, that's OG25.
Joe, I've got one for you.
What do you got?
The futures bet. Exact Super Bowl result. Carolina Panthers to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
What's the odds on that?
Plus 100,000.
Hell yeah. $5 gang. Stand up.
Dude, put $1 on it.
Let's go. I'm all in on that. Let's go. Only if MeowMix stays on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Only if.
Yeah. You can't even put money on it, MeowMix.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Again, lines, odds, subject to change. Use that promo code OG25. Bet $5. You'll get 3 months of League Pass and $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. It is now time for the legal.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
We're going to take a hockey break here in a second with Mike Maniscalco.
Oh, I like him.
We like Mike, and we like the Carolina Hurricanes, even if they've lost 3 of their last 4. But we'll calm everybody down.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hill.
4 of their last 6, Joe. That's the real travesty.
Well, here's the thing. Go to Happy and Hell, eat your feelings with the Carolina Hurricanes. And in all honesty, you're running around like a crazy person. You don't have time to stand on the line. So download the app today. Use that promo code OG25. Save 25% off your first order. May I suggest the banana bread smoothie?
Ooh.
Just the right amount of nutmeg. It's good stuff. So download the app today. Use that promo code. Big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Check them out online at bugsbite.com. You might not be thinking about mosquitoes right now. Understandable. It's now pure fall. It's getting crispy outside. You're worried about critters getting into the home, maybe some moisture from all the rain. Contact Pest Authority. You can even work on a moisture barrier. Go to bugsbite.com. And of course, our friends at Whitaker and Hayward, check them out online at wh.lawyer. Again, that's wh.lawyer. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is voice of the Carolina Hurricanes. He is Mike Maniscalco. Mike! What up, man?
Not much. Greetings from Madison Square Garden.
That's a beautiful backdrop.
It's real, too. It's real, too. It's not like a filter behind me. I'm really here.
Yeah, I think you are sitting below where I watched Billy Joel once. I could only afford the upper levels for that show. So you got the sign, right?
104 performances for Billy Joel here.
Amazing stuff.
And then Fish is right next to it. That's one that's okay. Good.
Hey, before we get into the Hurricanes, and all of our conversations with Mike Maniscalco about the Hurricanes are brought to you by our friends at Brassfield Accounting. Chris Brassfield in Homer, Alaska, where I believe there is sunlight 72 hours a day.
Love
Homer,
it.
Alaska. Chris Brassfield. If you need a fractional CFO, check him out online at brassfieldaccounting.com.
You know what that means, Joe? With the sun 72 hours a day, Chris is always up working for you.
That's a very good point.
Ooh.
Think about that.
You know what? Mike's a professional.
He is.
I am not. Just like Chris is a professional when it comes to being a fractional CFO. So again, check him out online at brassfieldaccounting.com. So you are in New York. How is sports talk this week after the Dodgers went back-to-back? Are they wondering how the little old Yankees can catch the Dodgers in spending? You know what it's like?
No. It's all about the New York Giants and the New York Jets and how they can, do they need to be terrible? The Giants are a bad team because Jackson Dart is their leader at 22 years old. It's all of that stuff.
He's there a week too late, because if he were there while the Giants still had a healthy white running back,
oh my goodness,
brother. That's radio.
Well, because I caught it after
the world Mike Francesa envisions.
So I caught it when I was in Philadelphia for a hockey tournament after the Giants had run all over the Eagles, and the Phillies got knocked out of the playoffs. So WIP was at 11. They went full plaid that day. So I can imagine what it would be like in New York. Just like Canes fans, Mike, are going plaid. They've lost 3 of their last 4, Mike. What's going on?
All right, look at the circumstances around it. Yeah, there's a panic button around you. Don't hit it. Put the glass case on it. Lock it. James Earl Jones doesn't need to come in and say he was never here. This never happened. You lose to Vegas, who's a really, really good hockey team. Like, I just need to remind everybody, you lose to a Vegas team that I think if they keep playing like this and if they stay healthy, they're probably the best team in the West. They're probably going to the Stanley Cup. In the way too early to say these things are going to happen.
Sure.
Boston did, you guys soccer fans, because I'm not, but I'm familiar with like terms and things that you want to do. Marco Sturm, their new head coach, realizes his team can't run and gun with other teams. So it's not boring hockey, but they kind of park the bus. They make it hard to get in front of the net to get to the goalie. It was a game that was there for the Canes. And I have to remind everybody in these situations, if the Canes are losing and it's 6-1 and they score 2 meaningless goals to make it 6-3 and it doesn't look right, I'd be like, okay, there's something not right here. But they're in all of these games with half their defense missing and 2 really valuable forwards in the bottom 6 who are not in the lineup right now. So you are putting players in different positions, and it still looks the way it should. You're still within striking distance of winning these games. And I know people don't want to hear, oh, it's a bounce here, but hockey is a game of bounces. The Dallas game, Miro Heiskanen scores 2 goals off of deflections. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that other than, hey, move your stick in a different direction. Or for Mike Riley, he's making the right play and the puck nips his glove and alters direction. So there's really nothing you can do along those lines. So no, it's not. And I don't want to be the yay team. Everything's fine. Don't worry. No, the injuries are something that you should be concerned about, because when are they going to come back? What are they going to look like when they come back? We always know that story. But on the other side of it, you're giving Alexander Nikishin way more minutes than you wanted to start the season, and he's handling them. You're giving some young guys on the defense an opportunity to, hey, if we need you at the end of the year, this is what the NHL looks like. So now they have that they can put in their notebook. And Bradley Nadeau gets a chance to come up and see what the NHL is like to play against. He's not getting top 6 minutes, but I'm going to choose to go that way. And the goaltending hasn't been bad. The goaltending has given you a chance in pretty much all of these games. So
I had jotted down 2 things in relation to that. One, you brought up the goaltending. So let's hit on that before we get to Nikishin, because that was the other thing that I had jotted down about what we've seen so far. So let's go to the goaltending, because that's the transactional news of the last 24 hours. In that Kochetkov, coming off a goal, Kochetkov up in Chicago, man. With the celly and everything, he's made this trip, but the Canes are carrying 3 goalies now. So you've got Freddie, you've got Bussy, you've got Kochetkov. What is the thinking here with keeping the 3?
I think it's, let's see exactly how healthy Pyotr Kochetkov is.
Yeah.
And look, Brandon Bussy has done nothing to not get another start in the NHL with how he's played for this team.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to give him the opportunity to go play again and do what he is shown that, hey, this team gave him some faith. Kochetkov, you just want to see if he's healthy. And then if you figure out that these 3 guys are healthy, then you'll deal with, okay, what do we need to do? It's never an ideal situation to carry 3 goaltenders, Joe, as you know. But, for right now, it's not going to hurt anything. And you can almost work it, like with this trip, Frederik Andersen, he's the starting pitcher when we go back to Raleigh. He didn't have to come on the trip because Brandon Bussy can back up right now because you have 3 goalies. So, that's the way. I know that Demetri's a big NBA guy. It's load management early in the season, where you don't even have to get on the plane. And I think it's you make the best of it. Well, Freddie's built better than Victor Wembanyama, so he can actually come up on these trips if he wanted to. But you can take a look at your goaltending situation and lay it out and say, okay, if we know this guy's going to play, this guy doesn't even need to travel and go through that. He can just do a light workout at home. So it's fine. And a position that, face it, Joe, how many times did you ask me coming into the season, about the goaltending? What's it going to look like? How about the goaltending? Goaltending has not been an issue at all for the Carolina Hurricanes in the early portion of this season.
So that gets us to the defense. And yeah, you're absolutely right. They've had some lineups out there that you would not have jotted down going into the start of the regular season. Or if you did, it was just your normal wear and tear of the season. And maybe we see some of these guys in January, getting back to the load management thing. But I wanted to focus on Nikishin because in the games that I've been able to watch and some of the highlights that I've seen floating out there, you can see it, man. Like you can see it. And I don't want to get too far ahead, but am I wrong in thinking that the way he plays and the physicality that he brings, it's like, dude, Canes have needed this for like a hot minute. And if he can kind of reach that full potential, there is something special there on a defense that already has a guy who is special in Jacob Slavin.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of special. Yes. And no, you're 100% right. And for me, the only thing I was cautious about in the beginning was like, don't expect it to be great right away because the league is different, the rinks are different, the players are different, and he's getting by. And Rod Brind'Amour says this: he's getting by on his just natural talent, his ability. When he figures out how to really play in this league, he's going to be a menace, and that's a good thing. The shot is unreal, and it's accurate, and it's heavy, and we know it's fast. But I loved in that first period against Boston, he just went out and he didn't care. He didn't care that it was David Pastrnak or if it was Marat Husnadinov, who was the number 1 center. He was hitting anything in a Bruins jersey. Now, we can all get our Irish up on that one and be excited. He now needs to learn the time and place for it. But in that game in Boston, that was the perfect way to start it off, to just tell the Bruins, yeah, you're not hitting us today. Not all day long. We're actually going to start inflicting some of that. So yeah, this is something that honestly this team hasn't had since Tim Gleason was back there. So it's welcome. And when they get to harness everything in and he understands where he's supposed to be, because there's still that little bit of, thinking the game because of how he's played in the KHL. It's different than over here. But when he figures it all out, yeah, he's going to be an unbelievable piece for this team. And he's only 24, so he's only going to get better.
Is that dramatic increase in ice time over the last, month? Is that about speeding along, figuring it out?
No, I think it's more out of necessity, Demetri, because, they just don't have the bodies. But what he has done is he's shown them when they give him, a little bit more each game, he can do it. Mm-hmm. So now it's one of these things where you're like, all right, well, let's see. Let's put a little bit more. on his play. You know, everybody was like, oh, he should be on the power play. And I got what the organization was doing. They're like, you don't want to overload him, right? You don't want him to be sitting there going, he wants to play. Don't get me wrong. You know, every player, put me out there every situation. I don't care. But the team was like, we don't want you to be thinking about what you need to do on a penalty kill while you're on the bench, and then while you're on the ice thinking about what you need to do 5-on-5. And now you got to think about the power play. They just want him to, not ease into it. But that was the thing, like gradually increase the minutes. Well, out of necessity, the minutes have ramped up from about 14 to we're now seeing like 20, 21 a game. And he shows that he can handle it. I just think it's really early in this season, in an NHL season being 82 games. You don't want to waste them in the first 40, meaning you burn them out in the first 41, 42 games because they don't play that many over in the KHL. You kind of wanted to, build them up as the season moves along. But no, he's handled it. Jalen Chatfield has handled the minutes. Sean Walker, who honestly, for my money, has been the most unsung player that the Canes have had. He went from averaging 15 to 17 minutes, and now he's at 22 minutes a night. And the backbone of this team, it's still there. And again, you don't have Jacob Slavin, you don't have Shane Gostisbehere for the power play, which could explain some of the power play woes, Joe, if you were going to get into that. And then you don't have Keandre Miller, who in the small sample size in a Canes uniform looked great.
All I'll say about the power play is what Wade Minter joked about on Blue Sky. If the Canes were truly being punished by the NHL, they would get more power play opportunities. They'd actually be getting the calls because it's not like it's really adding anything to the regular season right now. It's kind of is what it is. I feel like we've had this conversation a bunch of times, but
oh yeah,
I will say this about this is not the team you thought you'd have. We talked.
No.
We checked in with Rod Brind'Amour last week, and he said it in very plain terms. This is not the team we thought we would have right now. It's not gonna be the team that you see. Hopefully with injuries getting better and everything else, the team that you will see when they make the playoffs will be the team that they thought they had.
And again, if I could just for a minute put this one out there, if I would have told you at the start of the year, if you would have known that all these guys were out of the lineup and you had that monster road trip out west, and this team at the end of October would be playing 700 hockey, they were 7-3-0.
Yeah.
Who doesn't take it? And
you take it every time.
The Boston loss is is tough because this isn't the old Bruins anymore. They're trying to figure it out, and they got a new coach, and there's things there. But they're 7-4-0, and Jacob Slavin has played 5 periods. Keandre Miller has played 3 games, really. And so that's the thing where I am not. If you can tread water, the only thing that's weird right now is everybody in the East going into last night had an NHL 500 record. I mean, that's insane. Mm-hmm. That an entire conference is at 500 or better. But yeah, I'm not ready to sit here and say, oh man, this doesn't look right because of what Rod said. This isn't the team.
Yeah, it's not the team.
When we see the team, if this was the full team and they were 7-4, all right, maybe we have some conversations about, hey, what's not working right now. But considering what they've gone through and who they've played, yeah, I don't think outside of Boston, I don't think that they've had an L hung on them that they shouldn't have.
Let's get into my favorite thing to do. Let's look at practice lines, Mike.
Yes.
Ryan Henkel.
Yes.
Out there, practice lines from yesterday.
This is like SEC Media Day, Demetri. Let's go over the depth charts here.
Let's go to the 3D.
Who's that 3D tackle at Miss State need to see?
Well, it's funny you
Hail State.
It's funny you mentioned the 3D because this is the part that actually stood out to me would be the third line. And I know before you say it, I get it. Rod's a lot like Coach K. We don't have positions. We just play basketball. We play basketball here at Duke. Anyway, I do find it interesting that Jarvis, who's been getting kind of tossed around a little bit, is at practice at least was with Martin Nook and Stahl. As the internet would tell you, he's back with his 2 dads.
Yeah.
Is this like to protect Jarvis? Like, what do we got going on here?
I mean, that might be the $1 million question because, he did block that shot late in that win over the Islanders. Mm-hmm. And, the real concern was, are they going to be without Seth Jarvis now for an extended period of time? And he came right back against Boston. Mm-hmm. But no, this is a line in the past that Rod Brind'Amour knows can work. And when you're on the road, and again, it goes back to you don't have your team. So when you're on the road and you don't get the last change, you want to try to be able to generate offense with every line any way you possibly can. So you put Jarvis on that line with Stahl and Martinook, you know it works. Now maybe, and here's one of the positives we haven't talked about yet, Andrei Svechnikov's going. He's starting to be impactful again. All right, so you bring him up there with Sebastian Aho and see what that looks like for a little bit in Taylor Hall. He doesn't want to mess with the Stankoven line because it's been really good, but you move Taylor Hall off of that just to see what can happen. And then, Bradley Nadeau, I think you want to get – this is where you want the power play time because I think that's where they really envision Nadeau helping out the team and giving him more minutes that way. But you look at that fourth line, that's the line that you look at and say, all right, we'll slot you when you can. But no, people who are doing the hand wringing over, why is Seth Jarvis there? Because when you're playing the Rangers tonight, Stahl and Martinook are going to be on the ice for about 17 to 19 minutes against Panarin and Zibanejad, and you want to force them to play in their own zone. And they really don't like playing defense. So you do that and you have Seth Jarvis on that line, who is the Canes' best goal scorer. So, it's just a look for right now. And it's something that you try to look at in the future when you get, your body's healthier or things that are, maybe who knows what else will happen as this year moves along. But yeah, everybody's going to do the hand wringing over that, and there's no reason to. It's 82 games. It's like somebody panicking in a basketball game when you sub out a center and you go with a small lineup. Why are we doing? Because you just want to look at it and see if it's good.
Speaking of what, we scouting the bread man tonight? Been hearing rumors. Been hearing rumors, Mike.
Yeah. Let me consult with the internet on that one. So,
Mike Maniscalco, Canes play-by-play, brought to you by Brassfield Accounting. Check them out online, brassfieldaccounting.com. All right, Mike. Good broadcast tonight. You're back on TV.
No, back on TV. No, it's national tonight. Radio only.
Tonight. Okay, radio only tonight.
On the Hurricanes Radio Network show. That's where you can find us. Oh, one thing about Panarin, though. Let me just bring this up. I never say never. Never say never with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Of course.
With this group, with what they do now. But
Eric Tulsky laser eyes. That's where we're at right now. You don't have
Rod Brind'Amour laser eyes on a forward that doesn't like to go back and play in his own zone. I'll just leave that one out there. Not saying he can't help anybody. Just saying.
I miss days of working with Mike on the radio before the Canes had A, success, and B, stability.
Yeah.
When all of these problems could be like summed up with, so Mike, when are they moving to Quebec City? Because that's the only way I can talk.
That's the only, that's it. Yeah.
Well, no, I thought last week Maniscalco had a banger when he said, because again, Mike's lived it. He's like, all these guys who are up right now, they would have been on the opening night roster. Like, let's take a step back and remember the old times, shall we? Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we would have been having the conversation, and it's right to do it. Felix Unger-Sorum should be the number one center, Joe. Wasting his years right now instead of letting a guy develop. Now you can let these guys. That's the amazing thing, that you can let these guys develop like that. For me, the difference is you see Bradley Nadeau after the year that he had in the AHL. Now he, is trying to. You figure out how to play in the NHL. Well, he's ready to play in the NHL.
Careful with how many times you say Nadeau, because it's kind of like Beetlejuice. You say his name enough times, then the prospect knower is going to go Kool-Aid Man in my studio and just come out of here and just like, he should be on the second line.
I just want you to keep adding the tears on your fandom on
there are many Canes fans tears. Mike Maniscalco, Canes play-by-play. All right, man. We will talk to you later.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Big thanks to our friends at Hometown Realty. Check them out online at myhtr.com. You might be driving around the neighborhood. You see a lot of houses for sale. Maybe they've been sitting on that market for a while. What does it mean? You've been thinking about selling your house. Is it the right time to do it? The wrong time to do it? There's only one way to find out. That is to call the experts. So check them out online at myhtr.com. Maybe you have a very specific need. You want to move. and you want to find yourself closer to a Two Roosters.
Ooh.
So you say, my hometown realty, I need to be next to a Two Roosters. They're like, we got you, fam. And then you go to Two Roosters all the time and check out their monthly flavors. May I remind you, we are officially in pie season.
Listen, tip of the hat to now bygone S'moreos.
Yes.
That was a home run.
That was a good one.
God only knows what they have for pie season.
But it's chocolate chess pie.
Oh, baby.
Pie with the chocolate chess ice cream in pie form. They also have a pumpkin roll with cream cheese ice cream.
Cream cheese ice cream.
My stars.
It's good stuff. And of course, they're at Canes games. Get the Slave and Sunday. Get the little hockey pucks. It's all good stuff. And if you need it, again, when I talk about these
pies,
it's for Thanksgiving. It's for Christmas. Get all this stuff now. Pre-order right now. And also, may I remind you that you can go to the Butcher's Market to get your event catered. As Giglio likes to say, make your office party good.
Yes.
Show some respect to your employees. Go to the Butcher's Market to get it catered.
Because I promise you, they already view it as like corporate mandated fun, and that's fun for nobody.
So go to thebutchersmarkets.com. And of course, our guy Matt Davis and SureGarner.com, 919-779-8277. Just have the conversation about your home and auto. How much could you be saving? Only one way to find out. That is to call Matt today, 919-779-8277 or InsureGarner.com. All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe. We have one more sports phone call to take.
All right.
A little equal time, if you will, because we spent a lot of time talking about NC State basketball. There was another game that was played last night that has people feeling some type of way.
Hey guys, it's Paul. Just a couple observations from last night. Carolina basketball is officially back. And, throwing it in the post is back in style in Carolina basketball, baby. So many dunks. So many dunks. Hey, sometimes the game is just simple. If you're a head taller than everyone else, just throw it in the post and let Caleb Wilson and Henry Basar dunk the ball. It's just not that hard, guys. Fast break points. Carolina dominated fast break points. Carolina, they weren't as dominant on the boards, but they were in the first half. Roy Williams basketball, baby. It's back. I love it. I love to see it. They cleared Luka Bogovac to play 45 minutes before the game, which is complete bullshit. They definitely cleared him probably a week ago, but Carolina held that information so that they could get a cheap pop. Yeah, another masterstroke from Carolina to celebrate. Carolina loves to celebrate anything, baby. A masterstroke. Yeah, I like this team. I like it a lot. I like the bigs. Kyan Evans played really well at point guard, got a lot of steals, got a lot of assists, hit some three-pointers. That's what we need him to do. Luka looks like a professional out there. He is just so smooth when he plays. So I'm very excited for this season. In Raleigh, NC State, if you were listening to Will Wade after the game, you would have thought they won a fucking national championship. Brother, I'm happy for you that you beat NC Central by 50 or whatever, because NC State in the past probably wouldn't have beat Central by 50. But, brother, the way you're talking, if Hubert Davis comes up there in February or January, whenever the hell they played the one time this year, and they win, you're really setting yourself up for failure, Will. But, hey, congrats on the win, I guess. And I just wanted to mention one more thing about the Panthers win on Sunday. I can't believe I'm doing Giglio's job for him, making it all about NC State. But Micah Parsons had zero pressures for the first time in his entire career on Sunday. And the Wolf Blood, Ike Ekwamu, kept him off of Bryce Young's back. So you're welcome, Joe. I did your job for you.
Not only first time with zero pressures in a game in his career, coming into that game, nobody had gotten more pressures on Bryce Young in his first 2 seasons in the league than Micah Parsons.
But still not the best thing Ike Ekwonu did coming out of the weekend.
No, that's right.
That's telling MeowMix to shut up.
He ended this charade.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Ike Ekwonu. Yeah, look.
Can we talk about this real quick before we move off of the Panthers game? Do we know who the guy was on the Packers sideline that destroyed the beach ball that looked suspiciously like Mike McCarthy in a disguise?
No, we do not know. and yes, I everybody who sent me the Key and Peele response to the two pumps. I know that it was Key, right?
Yeah, Keegan-Michael Key. Yeah.
Keegan-Michael Key was the one who had put it out on social media like, come on, man, Rico, you were robbed. We all know it's two pumps. Right. So I saw that. That was all very
Have you
amusing.
seen, like, reporters were asking both Rico and Dave Canales after the game, like, what is your feeling? We all thought it was two pumps.
Right. Yeah. That was all. It's all very, very well done. Now, look, I'll say this about Carolina before we wrap things up. And it kind of goes back to what I said earlier, and Paul kind of nails it, is I get why Carolina fans are reacting the way that they're reacting to what Will Wade is doing.
Sure. That's what Will Wade wants you to do.
But that's what Will Wade wants you to do.
Yeah.
He wants you to react that way. He wants you to feel like, why, guys? And that you are motivated to like, well, damn, man, like, we're going to shut you up. That's what he wants.
Right.
You're playing into it. It's well done by Will Wade. And last thing, I have a Hey Joe question for you.
Oh.
Am I doing too much?
I mean, you are like bordering on Mike Love Beach Boys territory of I'm only wearing my own branded stuff.
So I'm wearing the Morgan Patrick.
First of all, like I said this to you when I came in, like you are clearly a corporate whore now, but I understand why with that shirt.
Yeah.
Like that's a great shirt.
Michael knocked it out of the park with this shirt with Morgan Patrick, the hockey hog. And I got my stock car inspired hat.
But the thing is, Joe,
then you know why I keep wearing hats though? It's because I need a haircut. I'm getting my haircut on Wednesday.
Sure.
So I'm at the point where I'm looking like Bozo the Clown. I'm hat fishing, if you will.
Right.
Basically, back in the day when I had a lot of hair and I had the wings coming out and I had the butt cut back in the 90s.
Hell yeah,
man. That was the move. Like this is what it used to look like. So it's like this weird glimpse of like I put the hat on, I got the wings coming out. I'm like, man, I feel young again.
Yeah.
But then I take the hat off and I'm like, oh, you look like a clown. So I keep wearing hats for the podcast because I just desperately need a haircut.
But the thing is, Joe, for the better part of a year, I have not seen you in anything but OG gear.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just shocked because
like this is a grassroots thing, man. We can't afford to advertise.
I hear you.
If I'm out and about wearing a shirt that says Ovies Giglio, I want people to go, who the hell Ovies Giglio? I don't even care if it's like
you're amongst my most cynical, image conscious friends.
Yes.
I am. This feels like if this were 1995 as opposed to 2025.
Yeah.
I would be very worried that someone is going to call my friend a sellout.
I have had to reframe the concept of selling out.
It's how we know we are not a proper country anymore.
Yes.
We used to shame people for this shit.
Well, I think you just nailed it. We used to shame people for things and shame worked.
Right.
For some reason, shame no longer works. And maybe I am shameless for constantly wearing my own gear.
Unless you're trying to relaunch your podcast. You pretended to quit.
On that note, we'll see y'all tomorrow.